Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my channel, Data Driven Decisions. Unfortunately, I got laid off from my job last Monday. Had nothing to do with me. The company is in deep financial trouble. There's some court settlement that's taking place this month, and until that gets settled, none of our clients were willing to do business with us. So everybody on the consulting staff was pretty much on the bench, almost all of us, and that just means the company was just burning money because they're still paying us, but they're not generating any money from us. So for that reason, they had to make cuts, and I was a part of a mass layoff on Monday, the the 8th or something. Um, and so now I'm looking for a new job, and for the past week, just been applying for as many jobs as I can, playing the numbers, fishing, and just trying to catch a couple fish. I did have an interview today and it went really well. The person was quite impressed with what I said and the work that I showed. And I already got a second interview for that job next Friday, and I'm really looking forward to that. I I hate being unemployed. It sucks. I hate um, not having work to do during the weekday. Um, I just want to be be working for a company and be busy, be happily busy. Um, and what I do, I'm a business intelligence engineer. I can also do data engineering work and data science work. I've been in such roles and done quite well. Um, but for the most part, I really shine in databases and BI tools. Really, that's where I shine. Um, I certainly can do the data engineering work. The ETL, that's definitely something I can do in any tool that's necessary. Um, but for the most part, I receive data and then I warehouse the data, or basically, for the most part, turn it into a star schema data model. That's always what's most optimal for a database, both on the analytics side and on the processing side. It's the happy medium for which data is formulated. Um, and then with a BI tool, it's always get data, wrangle data, visualize data, surface data. Those are always the four components of any BI tool. And once you know that and you work with that premise, any BI tool is rather easy. Today, I'm going to show my resume off. That's what I've been working on. Just been applying for as many jobs as I can, using LinkedIn for the most part. I looked at other job boards and I just didn't see as much action as what I see on LinkedIn. And um, I received my last job on LinkedIn. Um, you know, I post a lot on LinkedIn. I have a great profile, so um, you know, uh, hopefully that will get me a job. Let me share my screen and I'll show my resume. All right, this is my resume. It's rather long. For people who like a short resume, um, it's the first page is really like a one-page overview of who I am, starting with just like a professional summary. Um, and then here are my core qualifications as far as all the tools I use and what I do on the job. Um, here's once again all the tools that I work with. This is my experience. These are the 5 companies I've worked with in my professional career. Here are some of the certifications I've received. I have 3 more from SAS. And then here's my education. I got a bachelor's and a master's. This next timeline is just a visual way to show my career. I made the chart in Excel, not using any BI tool or anything. The graph doesn't really have any meaning, but it kind of looks like it has meaning. Meaning at the top, is my professional experience. All the way back from high school where I was a caddy, and then in college I was a mover, and then I started, working, um, you know, not real jobs, but jobs related to my profession. I was a mechanical engineer, and then clinical programmer, a research GA, quality control analyst, and then my first real job out of college, I was a pricing analyst at National General Insurance in North Carolina. Um, and for the last two jobs I've been at for each for like 4.5 years. So that's good. It shows that I'm loyal and I stayed put. And in the beginning of my career, I was definitely moving around a lot, trying to figure out what I enjoyed and what I liked. And it doesn't look good. I wasn't at these companies for very long, but lately, as I've aged and matured, um, you know, there's always adversity that comes in the workplace, but um, you know, I think the best option in most scenarios is just to stay put and weather the storm. And then down below is my education in sports. My undergrad and my master's, and then I played college football and college baseball at my university. And then to the right is all my certifications. And when I received those certifications, and then I got some volunteer work. I've been coaching football. This is my fifth season coaching football. So that's just a nice career timeline. I think, as a BI engineer, my job is to, turn data into insights. So, this is just a nice overview of what I am and who I am, and I like it, and I hope it, pops out when people view my resume. It's the second page. The next section is tech stack timeline. So basically all the tools that I've worked with, many more. I don't really mention all the databases. Once you know one database, you pretty much know them all because they're all SQL, different dialects, but so easy to translate. But yeah, this is starting with 2010. That was the end of my undergrad. That's where it starts, and then it goes all the way to the present. In the beginning of my career, I was very heavy in SAS. That I did everything in SAS, which you really can do. You can do data engineering, data science, BI engineer, and I was quite good at it. I had four certifications. I was great with macros. Um, you know, Unfortunately, SAS is not a good tool to learn in this day and age. Pretty much every company is trying to get off of SAS and onto something else, onto the more modern platforms. So, I'm very happy. In 2019, I made the transition off SAS, and I've really never looked back. It was a very uh, you know, difficult to make that transition. I was rather stingy about it for a couple of years. But when I was at Steelcase, we were forced to move off of SAS and on a new platform. So I had to migrate all my work off of SAS and onto new tools. And we moved to the Microsoft stack. So using Azure and Data Factory and Databricks. And we had Tableau as a BI tool. So I had to migrate all my work, and um, you know further down the timeline, you see a lot of technologies that I've worked with. I've been a consultant for 4.5 years, and it's usually like every 6 months we're on a new project with a different client in a different tech stack, and that tech stack could be whatever, and you just have to learn it. There's no excuse. You got to perform. You got to do your job, and whether the hyperscaler was GCP, AWS, or Azure, it didn't matter. You just figure it out and work with it. Whether the BI tool was Tableau, Looker, Power BI, ClickSense, doesn't matter. Just learn it. And that was a great experience because now I can move into any new tool and I'm confident that I can learn it on the fly. I'm not somebody who's just going to say no because I don't know it. I'm going to say yes, I'll figure it out. You know, as a consultant, I really gained the skill of seeing the forest through the trees after working through so many tools. You know, you really see the agnostic value of all of them, and being able to just figure out what it is and what you need to get done in the tool. Then we get to the long version of my resume. I figured, you know, some people like a short resume, and that's what the first page is for. Some people really want to see what you're doing, and that's what I provide later on in my resume. I really have a lot to tell about my experience at Eviden. I go through all of the client projects that I was on, quite many, IHA, FedEx, AbbVie, Estee Lauder, Northrop Grumman, Moody's, American Family Insurance, and Google. So those were the big projects that I worked on when I was at Eviden, and I just talk about each one. Mostly BI engineering projects. That was my role on most of these projects. Next is my Steelcase experience. At Steelcase, I started as a lead SAS programmer, then moved to a senior data scientist, and then lastly, I was a senior data engineer. And I was there for 4.5 years, and I just walked through my roles as a data engineer and as a data scientist. And then also at the bottom, I kind of put the tech stack. I know everyone always asks how much experience you have in what tool. So I provide, you know, exactly what technologies I was working on while doing the role. So at Steelcase, we were heavy in SAS in the beginning, but you know, later as I became a data engineer, we were working in Azure and Databricks Data Factory. So, you know, moving on to the modern world and working in modern tools. And then before that, I was an analytic developer at Meijer. I was there for 1.5 years. Meijer was a great experience. It was a tough culture. You work your ass off. I was busy every day, overloaded with work. Couldn't find enough hours in the day to fulfill my duties. I worked probably 60 hours a week while at Meijer. I was working nights, weekends. I loved the work. It was, you know, I woke up and I wanted to do my work, and I had plenty of work to do. I was very busy, and you know, that was a great experience. You know, working at Meijer was, you know, very stressful, but I came out of it, you know, quite a developer because of how much I developed on that job. And then my second job out of college, I was a pricing analyst at Stillwater Insurance in Jacksonville, Florida. I didn't stay there for long. I didn't like living in Florida. I was lonely. I didn't like it. So I moved back to Grand Rapids. But while I was there, I was a pricing analyst. And my first job, I was just a pricing analyst at National General Insurance. I was once again only there for 6 months. I wish I stayed there longer. I really loved that job. I really thrived in the role. It was my first job, and you know, it was fun, and I loved the job. And the reason why I left was because a guy that I was working with while here moved to Stillwater, and he kind of took me with him and gave me some better pay. But looking back, I wish I stayed put at National General because I was really thriving. I really enjoyed it. I loved my team. And they were willing to match what I was going to make in Florida, but I decided to move on, and you know, I regret that because I didn't have a good time in Florida, and I was having a great time in Winston-Salem, and you know, now I live in North Carolina. You know, I was in Grand Rapids for a good 8 years, and then I decided to move back to North Carolina just because I loved it so much while I was there for the first time, and I love it again. I live in Raleigh now instead of Winston-Salem, but yeah, that's my resume. Here's 2 internships, you know, but it's a 9-page resume, quite long, but you know, for those who like a short resume, that's what the first page is for, really short and sweet. And for those who like the in-depth resume, it really talks about all the experiences I've had. So yeah, that's my resume. So that's my resume, and I'm looking for a job, and for the most part, I'm using LinkedIn. Um, I had an interview today, it went really well, and I got a second interview next Friday. In the meantime, I'm really going to try to get more interviews lined up. I really want, uh, you know, the companies to compete for each other. It'd be nice if I had multiple offers so that I could let the companies compete on salary. I was making a lot of money when I was a consultant, and I'm finding it quite difficult to make what I was making. So I'm willing to make a little bit less than what I was making, not too much less, or else I'll just keep looking for new roles while I'm employed. But right now, I hate being employed. I want to get a job. I just want to receive a paycheck and be busy during the week and work. So, I'm willing to, make less than what I was making before, just so that I have a job. But hopefully, it's not much less. I want to, I have a house, I have a car payment. Um, you know, uh, I really want to make what I was making before. So yeah, that's that for this video. Thanks for listening. Have a good one. Bye.